30 years ago, I was working in Sydney as a newly graduated nurse, 3,000 miles away from my hometown on the other side of the country. As many nurses do, I got very attached to some of my patients, and one in particular stands out. Her name was Maria. She was third-generation Australian from Italy, and she was so beautiful. Maria and I got on great. She was in for over 2 months after having extensive surgery, and she told me a lot about her life. She also used to laugh a lot, and her favourite topic to laugh about was me, especially when I would declare that I was never getting married and I was never having children. I couldn't think of anything worse. I was just going to have fun for the rest of my life. Maria had worked hard for several decades. She'd climbed the corporate ladder, and in recent years she'd wondered, should she do something else? Yes, she was proud of what she'd achieved, but she realised it had come at quite a big cost. And she'd wondered maybe, should she change, but she didn't have the courage to leave that very well-paid job. And one day I asked her, I said, Maria, what would you do if you changed? And she said, I'd open a flower shop. And then she'd laugh hysterically like it was the most crazy idea. But I couldn't help noticing that despite having very few visitors, that Maria always had the most beautiful flowers on her bedside locker, particularly her favourite, beautiful deep red roses. And Maria was readmitted then, a couple of months later, a short couple of months later, and it was a little bit harder to laugh then because she was now facing a terminal diagnosis and she was very unwell. There was one day, and I was straightening her bed, and she grabbed me by the arm and she said, Sarah, sit down here next to me, sit down very close. And she grabbed both my hands and she leaned in close and she looked into my eyes, and she had this fierce look in her eye that I had never seen before. And she said, Sarah, I want to tell you some things, and promise me you'll listen very carefully. I'm going to tell you things that I wish somebody had shared with me at your age. She said, Sarah, I want you to live your life fully. Feel fully alive in everything that you do. Find somebody wonderful to share your life with, and have loads of kids. She said, take exquisite care of yourself. That's your job. That's not for anybody else. Take care of yourself first before you go and mind the rest of the world. Keep doing the work that you love, but if you stop loving it, please have the courage to change. And find work, make sure your work always has meaning to you. That's so important. She said, you've always got choices, and make those choices that will follow your dreams. Follow your heart and follow your dreams. Don't listen to what other people say. They think they know what's best for you, but really they don't. Don't live your life by somebody else's plan. And don't worry if you don't know what you want or you don't know what your dreams are. Just go with it. Just keep going. And don't be worried if you feel afraid. It does feel scary when you want to change anything. Just follow your heart, because it's on the other side of that uncertainty and that fear that you'll find your dreams. And just follow your heart and keep going and don't stop. And Sarah, I beg you, be brave, be bold, because your dreams matter. Maria died a few days later with me holding her hand, so she didn't have to die alone. That experience, and a few others like it, taught me many things about life. And what I learned from people was that some people can get the most amazing clarity about life when they're facing death. And it was something I was privileged to witness many times. But I didn't feel like I had the right to share that with anyone. I've held this story of Maria inside me for 30 years. And I didn't feel like I had to tell that story. Now it's only recently that I realised I can't not tell it. So I want to share with you a few things that I've taken from that time in my life that I just feel is a privilege to share. The first thing is to let go of what other people think. It really doesn't matter. Don't follow somebody else's plan for your one sweet life. The second is to do work that you love and has meaning to you. And by work, I mean whatever you do every day, whatever that happens to be. And, you know, I know we've all got responsibilities, we've all got bills to pay. But if you can't change the work that you do, choose to love the work you're doing. And find work that has meaning in it, or find the meaning in the work that you are actually doing. And thirdly, and most importantly, is that your dreams matter. When I was that very young nurse, at that time in my life, I didn't know what I wanted. I was a bit lost and confused. And if I'm completely honest now, looking back at it, I realise that I was suffering from grief with everything that was happening at work around me at such a young age. I couldn't really cope with it. And I started looking for other jobs and other careers, and nothing was quite working. But Maria's words stayed with me. I knew that I just had to keep going, even if it felt scary, and I knew that dreams mattered, and I just had to keep going. And a few weeks after Maria died, I met my now husband of 27 years. I went back to study to follow my dream for a new career. And we went travelling the world and then had loads of kids. Maria would be very proud, very proud. And what I'd like to say to you is I'd like you to take a really good look at your life now. I want you to think about anywhere that you're not currently following your dreams. And if you're in a job that you hate, if you're in relationships that aren't working for you, if you're not treating your body like the magnificent machine that it is, anywhere that you're not on track with your dreams, I want you to know that you have choices. You always have choices. And it's okay if it's scary. Because, like Maria says, I'm begging you to be brave and to be bold, because your dreams matter. Thank you.